So hey y'all, I know that this is like not the way how I start videos, but I spent 9 hours today doing a compilation video with 3 different topics and YouTube just flagged the video. And I'm sorry, but I worked so hard on a almost 40-minute long video. I refuse for YouTube to take my money. I'm sorry y'all. So I'm gonna break up the 3 videos, but without further ado, let's get into this Kiki Palmer story. So our last story is about Kiki Palmer and her baby daddy. This was my #1 most requested story, and I really waited to drop this one because I wanted to see what was going to happen. Of course, I knew that there was going to be a lot of tweets and more think pieces, more shade being thrown and so forth. But I really was looking to see, are we going to be honest as women, and are we going to finally acknowledge what is happening with women? I feel like both of the previous stories kind of led up to this one because it all comes down to perception. And that's probably one of my favorite words right now because it is the theme of women over the past few years. Our perception, our professional perception, our sexual perception, our financial perception, our romantic perception, how we are perceived and viewed by different races, different genders, and even those that have the same race and gender. So with Kiki Palmer and her baby daddy, they welcomed their son earlier this year in February. And I feel like this situation was kind of doomed from the beginning because back when people were saying that Kiki should be weary of her boyfriend, not because of his looks or how he treats her, but mainly because of the clash of dynamics that may occur due to them being very different in their lifestyle. So Kiki's boyfriend's name is Darius Dalton. He is a personal fitness trainer and a model. He is currently 29 years old, and him and Kiki met at a party back in 2021. Kiki, on the other hand, is also 29 years old. She'll be 30 next month. She is an actress, singer, television personality. She really is that girl. I've been a fan of Kiki Palmer since I was a kid. Kiki Palmer was the first Black female celebrity that I saw, and I actually was a fan of. I remember going to the Kiki Palmer website. She had that picture of her laying down on the bed, listening to music with her feet up in the air, just kicking it with her ponytail to the side. I wanted to be Kiki Palmer when I was a kid. So I've always been a fan of her and her talent. So in December, I made a video about Kiki Palmer and her pregnancy. I definitely spoke about the optics and how it looks for Black women. And I felt like it wasn't just about getting pregnant out of wedlock because thousands of women do that, but it was more because of who it was with. And I made that video 6 months ago, and my whole thesis was we shouldn't normalize having kids before marriage, and we definitely shouldn't let Black women be the face of it. And we are. And then to add insult to injury, we shouldn't be doing it with a man who isn't putting us in a hypergamous situation or a situation where we're both equally stable and yoked for one another. Because then you end up in situations where you have to compromise the things that you really want or the view that you really want due to making certain decisions. So I say all of that to say Kiki had her baby. It is what it is. And ever since she had her baby, she's really been outside. And I commend her for being outside. I'm also outside this summer. But I commend her for being a mom, but also allowing herself to have that fun and that leisure that's needed because I can only imagine what it's like to be a new mom. Give me like another 5 years. So she did this by going to the Usher concert, which we've all seen. And Usher pretty much serenaded the hell out of her. I mean, they were vibing. They were looking like they had chemistry. Kiki was having a good time. They were hugged up. They had eye contact. They were having a moment. And I feel like it was at first just an innocent display of fandom on Kiki's end. But I do see how it reads wrong when you're in a relationship. But I will get to that. So after this post hits the internet, her baby daddy responds to this by saying, "It's the outfit though. You're a mom." And I think people really thought that he was joking at first. Even I did. And I was like, maybe he's supporting her, but he didn't have any emojis or any positive punctuation tied to this. So he was dead ass. He then tweets more by saying, "We live in a generation where a man of the family doesn't want the wife and mother to his kids to showcase booty cheeks to please others, and he gets told how much of a hater he is. This is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. I rest my case." Now, I feel like what he was saying was fair. I mean, if you don't want your wife and family to be viewed in a certain way, you have that right as a man. I feel like men should be allowed to say that if they are the head of the household or they're in a marriage with wife and kids, there's a certain way that they want to be perceived through their family and through his family name. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever because yes, it is your representation. I grew up Nigerian, so in this culture, it is very big on family name and how it looks and all these different things. So I do understand that. However, he was dead wrong for posting this on Twitter. To publicly shame your child's mother is a low that actually shocks me because what? Because no. I feel like there had to be something else that led to this because who does this unprovoked? This was such a private matter that I actually couldn't believe that he addressed this. Even though he isn't a celebrity, I feel like he's around the lifestyle enough to understand why privacy and remaining discreet from the internet is important because things get misconstrued. You're in the moment emotional about the situation, so you may say things that you don't even really mean, and overall, it's never a good look for any of the parties involved. It's like he intentionally tried to embarrass her or bring shame upon her for being outside by looking that way. And if he did feel a way about how she was dressed, a simple text or phone call or in-person conversation would have rectified it. But we all know it wasn't about what she had on, because Darius Dalton posted pretty revealing, or I guess you could say sexually thriving content of Kiki. When she first had the baby, he posted a video of her basically bouncing them cakes. He said, "My son transformed at Kiki." And he was in the background gassing her up. And Kiki's body has definitely transformed. She looks great. I'm glad she's one of the celebrities that's embracing mom bodies, because this generation has a weird obsession with snapback culture. That's a whole different video. But he posted that without hesitation. Not only that, but he posted another photo of Kiki when she was pregnant where she had on no shirt, her arm is covering her breast. She also has on panties. In the photo, her hair's in a messy bun. She has on no makeup, but he posted that. He took the picture and posted it. So it's not about what she has on, and we all know that. I feel like with him and most men, it's you can dress sexy, but only around me. And I feel like men are territorial, and it's in their nature to be that way. You can't just be the unhealthy type of territorial as a man. So let's keep it a black bean and a pinto bean. Like, let's keep it real. This whole thing was about how Kiki Palmer interacted with Usher. And I want women to be honest by saying he had a right to feel away. I personally don't think it makes him insecure that his woman is being serenaded by another man and he feels away. That doesn't make somebody insecure. If my man was being serenaded by another woman, I would feel away. I might not feel insecure within myself, but I'm definitely feeling away, and you would too. Don't come in this comment section and say, "No, I wouldn't because I'll understand this and that and the third." Shut up. Okay? You're lying. You would feel away. You would feel away. And like I said, I feel like Kiki was innocently doing this. She wasn't doing this with the intention to be disrespectful. She wasn't doing this with the intention to piss off her baby daddy. She wasn't doing this with the intention to create this whole controversy. She went out looking good with her friends and wanted to have a good time. The internet is really the problem here, to the point where I wasn't even going to do this story at first because the internet has been dragging this and it's been like a whole week. So Kiki Palmer and Darius Dalton have now unfollowed each other on social media, and maybe their relationship is on a break, or maybe this has been going on and Kiki is just tired of it. I don't know. I mean, on Father's Day, which was not even a month ago, she gave him praise just for this to happen now. So I feel like maybe this was just a hiccup in the relationship where his ego, pride, and possibly his manhood was hurt, and he fell for the sucker attack. I kind of feel like because he wasn't there, it was hard for him to watch this on social media. I also feel like because there was this narrative that Kiki Palmer isn't considered this beauty, which is bull. She most definitely is considered a beauty to me. But I feel like the general narrative doesn't place Kiki Palmer at the top of the ladder for looks based off of societal standards. I think she's a beautiful woman. I think she's a baddie. I think she looks great. But society is very harsh against black women and our looks. And I don't think Kiki Palmer is a sex symbol. When we were introduced to Kiki Palmer, she was a child actor. Now she's a grown woman and her narrative has never been sex appeal. So now that we see her in this sexier viewpoint, I think it was difficult for Darius to adapt to that, because Kiki has been getting a lot of praise about her looks post-baby, and she's been glowing. You can see it in her face, her body, everything. So let's be real. Her boyfriend is not insecure, but he definitely had a jealous moment like anybody in a relationship would if they saw their partner being serenaded or just looking like there's some type of romance budding between them and another person. He should not have brought it to social media, and I feel like Darius is an example of why people were cautioning Kiki in the first place. The caution was that, okay, this man has you pregnant, he's definitely not financially on your level, socially on your level, and his motives for getting with you could be 50-50. So be careful. There was one part of what Darius tweeted that everybody kept referring to when he said that this is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. So many people's rebuttal was, if you have standards and morals, why didn't you make Kiki a wife before you made her a baby mother? And surface level, I 1000% agree, but y'all know I'm Queen Chioma Trigger and I have to keep it a stack. Weren't some of y'all the same people that were defending Kiki being an unwed baby mother to this random man, saying that, oh, she's gonna be okay and she's rich and it doesn't matter that she decided to be a baby mama, that's her life and that's what they chose to do, and people need to accept that not everyone wants to be married and blah 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 blah. Shut up again. Shut up. You see why that excuse doesn't work? Because now you're trying to use it to defend her when she didn't require herself to be a wife before having this man's baby. So now, of course, he's gonna have room to disrespect her and not be serious when it matters. Because when you're in a marriage, there's so many more guidelines and stipulations that are present, and a man is essentially choosing a woman to be a part of his lineage, his assets, his name, everything. So when you disregard that and you jump steps to the most permanent decision, which is having a child in this world, this is the risk. And when I say it in every video, it's always someone telling me me that I'm anti-woman for saying it, but look at what happens. I was not here at all for women trying to say, why didn't you marry her? No, why didn't Kiki require marriage before she invited this man into her womb, and single motherhood and being a baby mama and being unwed as a mother just for it to turn around and low-key bite her? You should have shut up and ate your food. Now, a better argument to me is how Darius's ex-girlfriend posted a TikTok video last year stating that she was pregnant by him, he pressured her to get an abortion, and then 3 weeks later he was booed up with Kiki. This is actually the craziest red flag because that man, to me, couldn't have changed that fast. Look what money would make somebody do. If this is true, I find it to be so disgusting because to leave your girlfriend weeks after an abortion, you better be on your knees praying for forgiveness. And to people's argument, how do you have standards and morals, but you were about to make another Jonah baby mama prior to the baby mama you have now? And how is it moral of you to leave your girlfriend for another girl after she just aborted your baby? Absolutely not. Like, this is my main issue with this man. I don't respect men who leave women in shambles after causing or contributing to a major life decision, such as an abortion, childbirth, marriage, whatever. It's very unmoral. Now that that's out the way, I wanted to read this Facebook post that I kind of feel like sums up this entire situation. So this post is a little long, but it's from a lady named Brianna Thames on Facebook, and she said, "When I first saw him address Kiki online, I thought it was off base. I felt it could have been handled privately, but I believe his response is probably an emotional one and not necessarily rational. I understand. He felt publicly disrespected. The woman he just started a family with was scantily dressed, being serenaded by another man. Not just that, a star. All his boys saw that. The whole world saw it. I'm sure he felt a little humiliated. She fanned out over Usher's attention, and I can only imagine that this boy has a way he wants to be perceived. Everyone has insecurities and strong convictions. No one wants to be humiliated. They have basically stepped out as a couple, and he probably just lost his cool. People are talking about where is the ring, like that's a prerequisite for basic respect. Anyone who has dated a man for any stretch of time knows that respect is a basic need for men. I don't think he felt respected when he saw what he saw, and maybe he felt the need to defend himself and the public assault on his ego. Honestly, if it was me, I would have to respect how he felt. She seems to care about him, and I'm sure this is something they can move past. They have a son together and obviously have bonded to the extent that she probably will care. As a married woman, I do feel like she made a mistake. Can you imagine being up and coming, scoring a well-known and respected Kiki, then watching her half naked fawning over Usher? The Usher we grew up banging, 7 o'clock Usher, was he supposed to be happy for her? That's another man in a public space. It was giving friendly. His woman was about half naked and Usher was showing interest even if it was just entertainment. That's hard for a man to watch. We dogging him out for how he handled the situation, but he obviously cares about her and how she made him look. I don't think she purposely offended her partner. She seems to be happy and living in the fullness of that happiness. She's glowing. That tells you that he's probably a good guy. We seeing a more confident woman. Y'all don't think she's happy with bruh? It looks pretty obvious that she is. I just feel like young people don't appreciate the common needs of men in relationships. Now he's a goofy, his feelings can't be hurt, he can't be offended, and he needed to marry her for basic levels of respect. But had he been spotted publicly humiliating her, we would definitely feel much differently. I'm not saying he handled that right, but the merciless criticism is not taking the whole thing into account or being fair, period. That boy has a right to feel some kind of way, even if he did handle it wrong. I've handled countless situations wrong when I was upset. Hurt feelings or offense doesn't always express itself eloquently. He's human. He made a mistake, but she did too. Ring or no ring, respect is a basic and reasonable need, especially for a man who is invested. I'm saying this after 10 years of being married to a strong and secure man. We are their soft spot, and disrespect like this can make the strongest man act a donkey. Now, the reason why I feel like this sums up the situation is because it points the blame on both parties in a fair way, and I like to be fair. Darius was wrong for trying to humiliate Kiki and almost signaling an attack on her through the internet based off of his distaste with her actions. But I do agree that I think he has the right to feel a way about this. And as women, I feel like there was a true lack of honesty with the responses that I've seen, especially from other commentators. Like, it kind of just seemed like the video was, let's bash this man, but not address the entire situation. Everyone is super duper mad at Darius for his response to Kiki, rightfully so, but nobody's considering what provoked this emotion. And I feel like currently women are confusing me. I tweeted the other day about how I feel like lately women have been showing how hypocritical we are. Y'all want so much from men that you won't reciprocate. City girl / hoe culture is doing a number on young women, and I see it every day. I agree that men use patriarchy and misogyny 24/7, but I see women going dumb too. And the reason why I made this tweet was because any woman would be mad at the reverse of this situation. And that's why I have to be fair. If your man was catching cheeks from a woman under the guise of, I'm just having fun at this concert, or I'm at this block party or whatever, you would feel away. Somebody brought up the double standard of when Chance the Rapper was being twerked on by this random woman, even though he has a wife. And women were so quick to drag this man and say that his wife should get a divorce and that it was so disrespectful to their relationship. But y'all are not saying that about Kiki. And then it's like, well, Kiki isn't married, but y'all are still using the excuse of not everybody wants to be married, or it doesn't matter that she had a baby without being married, just so your argument works in her favor. And y'all can't do that. You have to be fair. Even with the whole situation with JT throwing her phone at Lil Uzi, that is domestic violence no matter how you flip it, and she's not being dragged to this extent. So women, we have to be fair. Period. Women really just be picking and choosing, and I see it every day on the internet. I get we are the ones who have suffered the most under the male-dominated world that has existed for centuries, but we have to be for real as well. That 8-second dance that Chance the Rapper received was indeed disrespectful. But if we use the same excuse y'all are giving Kiki as he was just having fun, Chance the Rapper was at Carnival having fun. Side note, I'm going to be in Carnival in Miami in October, and I will be having fun as well. I'm outside, baby. Anyway, so it's kind of hard to win at these games when we're not living in a fair world that gives women the benefit. I'm not saying feed right into the nonsense and abide by men's rules. Hell no. But I'm saying be fair about what's happening, because if you wouldn't want your man to be catching a dance and or being serenaded by whomever, even under the lens of entertainment, then understand why Kiki may have disrespected her relationship, even if it was unintentional. The last thing I wanted to touch on in regards to this topic is the idea of money. I feel like a lot of channels have been speaking about the fact that Darius not being the breadwinner either doesn't give him the right to feel away, or is the reason why Kiki Palmer can do what she does. But Kiki Palmer made a choice to date down. So if you're going to make a relationship with somebody who was under you for any reason, you're accepting himself and yourself at that lower level. Literally, the saying goes, a team is only as strong as its weakest player. And that's kind of how it is when you date down as a woman. I know it's unfair, but men can afford to date down, because if he's the breadwinner, said man is essentially fulfilling his gender roles regardless. But when a woman is the breadwinner, you risk ending up like Mary J. Blige or even Wendy Williams. And I think a lot of people are hoping that doesn't happen for Kiki, and this incident isn't foreshadowing that, but it makes people question, will that happen? I pray it doesn't. All in all, I don't think they're gonna break up. I mean, there's a baby involved. I was actually disgusted by the amount of women who were encouraging Kiki to basically break up her family for something like this, that in my opinion isn't as serious as simply addressing where both people were wrong and moving forward with better boundaries. This is a conversation about boundaries and respect for their relationship, not their financial situation, but their relationship that doesn't involve any of us. I don't think she should break up her family over this. There's a newborn baby involved, like I said, and I think it's very hurtful and disgusting for women to champion her literally becoming a single mother. Why would y'all want that for her? Having respect for your relationship is not exclusive to a marriage. It is the basic component of any relationship, whether it's friendship, boyfriend and girlfriend, or married for 10 plus years. So both individuals should have more privacy, find a happy medium with what they want in a partner, and stay off the internet. I wish them both the best.